Isekai. It's a term in the world of anime that everyone has heard of. In today's society, isekai shows dominate the industry. Some are good, some bad, and some are just simply terrible. Good or bad, there's no stopping it. Isekai shows have made a cultural impact, and like it or not, they're not going away anytime soon. There are so many shows about them that people are starting to get annoyed. In each season, there are at least 5 or 6 new isekai shows that are trying to be the next big hit because, honestly, there are some good shows. So good, in fact, that it has spawned a franchise and anime fans are eating it up. But before I continue, I bet some of you watching this don't even know what isekai shows are. To put it simply, isekai is a genre in the anime world where the main premise is that the main character, usually male, gets transported to another world, usually a world where swords and magic are common. The way they are transported also differs. The most common one is reincarnation. After they die, usually getting hit by a truck, they meet a supreme higher being who offers them the chance to be reborn in a new world. Other than reincarnation, the second most common is transportation. They are simply transported from our world to a new one. Now, it's a common trope that the main characters in these shows are often overpowered. Like, they are so strong that almost nothing can stop them. This is the thing that people hate since it's been overused greatly. But personally, I like it when the MC is untouchable and can easily take down a villain without breaking a sweat. That's pretty much the basics when it comes to isekai shows. Now let me tell you about my experience of these kinds of shows and how they influenced my life. Personally, I love being an isekai junkie. No matter how bad a show is, if I find it a bit interesting, I will watch it. Let me start at the beginning. If my memory is correct, I think the very first isekai show I saw was Digimon Adventure. I think this is considered an isekai since the characters are transported to another world, and I'm pretty sure most of you will agree on that. However, the term isekai wasn't even invented back then, and the show is simply in the fantasy genre. Shows where the characters are transported to another world are instantly put in the isekai genre, since that's exactly what the word means. In Japanese, isekai means another world. There is also a term called reverse isekai, but I'll get to that later. Now, like I said, the term isekai wasn't a thing back in the 90s and early 2000s, so most of the shows were just in the fantasy category. There were a few shows like Vision of Escaflowne and Curious Play that are considered isekai shows. Both were great to watch as well. Definitely one of my favorites from the 90s. From the early and late 2000s, there were only a handful of isekai shows. The only one that stood out to me was The Familiar's Zero. It's a classic show, and I'm sure you agree with me as well. Isekai wouldn't be a thing until in the early 2010s where it started to get momentum. All of a sudden, isekai was slowly starting to get people's attention. There were several that people really liked, but I believe that there was one show that cemented itself in history as the one that made isekai popular. And that show was No Game, No Life. After that, amazing isekai shows were starting to get adapted into an anime every year. Shows like Konosuba, ReZero, Drifters, Gate, Overlord were one of the good ones and are still relevant to this day. That just shows how good they were and the mark they left in the anime community ever since they aired the very first episode. Personally, I have been a fan of Overlord since day one. Aside from the Fate series, Overlord has taken over my life, and I wanted to know everything about the show and its origins. Although I don't know every detail, I have a fair amount of knowledge I can share whenever a friend asks about the show. Other popular isekai shows are That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime, Arifureta, Saga of Tanya the Evil, and Jobless Reincarnation. I'm just naming a few since we'll be here all day if I list them all. Also, you might have noticed by now that the titles of these shows are long. Just don't think about it too much since it's a common thing. Now, let's talk about the so-so and the simply terrible shows because there are a lot of them. Since isekai has become popular, it is only natural that the anime industry wants to make as many of them and pray that one will become popular and grow into a franchise. The only problem with this is that they made a bit too many. They sacrificed quality and went straight to quantity, and I think that's the wrong move to make. Since the premise is the same, it gets boring too fast. They don't add something unique that might make the show more interesting. There are also shows under the "they're so bad, they are good" category. I'm sure most of you know what I mean by this. These types of shows exist, and it has become a guilty pleasure of mine. Seriously, I find it satisfying knowing a show is bad, but finding out later that it wasn't that bad. And that's what I'll be talking about in the next video. Underrated isekai shows that are bad at first glance, but are actually good. The popular ones already have the spotlight, so I'm giving the lesser-known shows a chance to shine as well. Because everything deserves a chance, even isekai shows.